Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 1. Let's start the fanfic. Academy yard smelled of damp grass and chalk dust. Students trickled through the gate, laughter already loud, sandals thudding against stone. Naruto Uzumaki shoved his hands into his pockets. His bandages itched. His stomach growled. His eyes stayed forward. Oi! Dead lasts here already. Snickers followed. Naruto's jaw tightened. He wanted to shout, to prove them wrong. Instead, he kept walking, shoulders stiff. Under the cedar tree, Hotaru Nara watched. She noticed the way his fists clenched. The way he bit back words. Beside her, Shikamaru yawned. Troublesome. You're staring again. I'm observing. Observing what? That he doesn't break. Naruto dropped into his seat. His eyes flicked toward the window once. Hers caught his. A faint smirk tugged her lips before she turned away. He blinked, unsure if it was real. Morning. Classroom. Iruka's chalk screeched across the board, stances and arrows filling the space. Naruto hunched over his notebook, pencil jabbing. His page was a mess, lines backward, words cramped. Why's it always so? He muttered. A shadow fell across his desk. Hotaru leaned just enough to see, hair sliding down like a curtain. Her pencil tapped his page. You've drawn it wrong, she whispered. Naruto jerked. What? No, I didn't. He looked between her neat diagrams and his own chaos. Okay, maybe I did. You'll confuse yourself before Iruka finishes. He bristled. Hey, I'm following just fine. She turned back to her notes. You'll trip over your own feet like that. Naruto scowled down at the page. Bossy, he muttered. Her mouth curved, the faintest hint of a smile. Efficient. Iruka clapped his hands. Break for lunch. Naruto slumped in relief, stuffing his notebook away. He was halfway to the door when her voice stopped him. Uzumaki. He turned. She stood already, tray in hand, expression calm. Sit with me. Naruto blinked. Huh, lunch, she repeated, eyes steady. Don't make me say it twice. Lunch. Courtyard. The courtyard buzzed with chatter. Clusters formed in tight circles, laughter echoing off the walls. Naruto lingered at the edge, clutching his bento. She meant it, right? What if she was joking? Hotaru sat under the cedar tree, Shikamaru sprawled beside her. Her tray was neat, his half empty. Naruto forced his feet to move. He dropped beside her, grass crunching under him. Shikamaru cracked one eye. Troublesome. You actually brought him. Hotaru didn't look up. I told him to. Naruto bristled. If I'm not wanted. A piece of radish slid onto his tray. Hotaru's chopsticks pulled back. Her gaze met his, sharp, amused. Eat. You're louder when you're hungry. Naruto blinked, then grinned, ears red. You're bossy, you know that. Efficient. Shikamaru sighed. Now there's two of you making noise. Great. Naruto glared. What's your problem? No problem, Shikamaru muttered, smirking faintly. Just wondering how long before she ties you up and makes you eat right. Hotaru's lips twitched. Not a bad idea. Naruto almost choked. Hey, don't joke like that. Her eyes lingered on him. Then tell me, what do you want out of being a shinobi? The courtyard faded. Naruto set his chopsticks down. Me. His voice cracked. I wanna be strong. Strong enough nobody ignores me. Strong enough to protect people, even if they hate me. And one day, his grin shot wide, too bright, hiding the shake in his voice, I'll be Hokage. Believe it, Shikamaru muttered into his sleeve. Troublesome dream. Hotaru didn't laugh. She studied him, weighed him. Not troublesome at all, she said softly. Naruto's chest tightened. She wasn't mocking him. She believed he might. Hokage. Bold. Maybe not impossible. Her thoughts flickered, sharp. Hokage meant work. Endless meetings. Decisions that chained. Things her father sighed about. Things she respected but didn't crave. If he climbs that high, I won't need to. I'll stand behind him. Let him carry the fire. I'll enjoy the shade. Her lips curved faintly as he wolfed his food down, oblivious to her gaze. Troublesome for him. Convenient for me. After class. The bell rang. Students spilled onto the street, voices high, sandals slapping stone. Naruto swung his satchel over his shoulder, ready to vanish back into silence. Uzumaki. He froze. Hotaru stood at the gate, arms folded. Walk me home. Naruto blinked. What? Why? Her brow arched. Because I said so. He hesitated. Then sighed. Fine. Nara compound. Evening. The compound smelled of pine and simmering miso. Deer grazed in the fields, their antlers catching the last of the light. Naruto followed Hotaru through the gates, shoulders stiff. He'd never been this deep inside. Yoshino Nara looked up from the porch, apron dusted with flour. Her eyes warmed instantly. Well now, who's this? This is Naruto, Hotaru said simply. He's eating with us. Naruto fumbled into a bow. Thank you for having me. Shikaku leaned against the doorframe, pipe glowing faintly. His gaze was sharp despite his lazy slouch. So this is the one you've been talking about. Naruto's head snapped toward Hotaru, ears burning. Why you've been? Hotaru's cheeks colored. Maybe. Yoshino laughed, setting her hands on her hips. Ah, so this is him. You know, she's dropped his name at the table before. Always with that little spark in her voice. Hotaru groaned under her breath. Mother. Shikaku's eyes narrowed just a touch, though his tone stayed mild. Persistent, wasn't it? You said he pushes harder than the rest. Doesn't give up. Hotaru folded her arms, forcing calm. That's what I said. Naruto sat frozen, ears redder than ever. She really talked about me. To them. Dinner was laughter and clattering bowls. Yoshino teased. Shikaku asked quiet, pointed questions. Shikamaru sighed through it all. Hotaru smirked whenever Naruto dropped his chopsticks, nudging his elbow under the table. Naruto sat stiff at first. Then eased. Then laughed. For the first time, he didn't feel like an intruder. He felt like he belonged. After dinner, Nara compound. The table sat empty but for bowls streaked with broth and chopsticks scattered in pairs. Naruto jumped to his feet. All help. Yoshino blinked at him. Oh, well, that's polite of you. He gathered bowls in both arms, nearly tipping them twice before setting them down by the wash basin. Water sloshed. Soap foamed. Yoshino chuckled at his clumsy rhythm. You're not used to this, are you? No, ma'am, Naruto admitted, scrubbing too hard at a plate. But, thank you, for letting me eat here. Yoshino's smile softened. You're welcome anytime, dear. Shikaku exhaled smoke from the porch, watching through half-lidded eyes. Persistent, he murmured again. When the last bowl was dried and stacked, Naruto bowed awkwardly. Thank you again, Yoshino-san. Shikaku-san. Really? Yoshino waved it off. Shikaku gave a slow nod. Hotaru tugged at his sleeve. Come on. They stepped into the cool night. The gate loomed ahead, lantern light stretching shadows long. At the threshold, Naruto rubbed the back of his neck. Your family's really nice. I didn't expect that. Hotaru tilted her head, smirk tugging her lips. Of course they are. They're Nara. He scratched at his cheek, ears warm. Still, thanks. For today. Don't thank me yet. Her arms folded. Tomorrow's another day. You'll sit by me again. His eyes widened. You heard me. She pushed the gate open, smirk deepening. Good night, Naruto. Naruto stumbled through, heart thudding. What just happened? The gate shut behind him with a quiet thud. Next morning, Academy. The village was barely awake when Naruto pushed through the academy gates. His sandals scuffed the stone. The sky was pale. He was early. Earlier than he'd ever been. Feels different today. Under the cedar tree, Shikamaru sprawled in the grass, arms behind his head. Hotaru sat beside him, notes open. Her eyes lifted. You're early. Naruto scratched his neck, grinning sheepishly. Yeah, well, figured I'd get a head start. Shikamaru cracked one eye. Troublesome. You. A head start. Shut it. Lazybones. I can be early if I want. Hotaru's lips curved faintly. Then sit. Naruto dropped down, pulling his notebook out. Its corners were bent, pages full of crooked lines. Before he could hide it, Hotaru's hand slid across. Let me see. Hey, don't just grab my stuff. Her eyes scanned fast. Crooked arrows. Half-finished seals. Cramped words. You're skipping transitions. Her finger tapped the page. Here. And here. That's why you keep catching your feet. Naruto's ears went red. His shoulders tensed. Hotaru's head turned. Her gaze cut the row clean. Calm. Sharp. Cold. Your stances were worse than his, she said flatly. If you have time to whisper, fix them. Silence snapped across the room. Eyes dropped. No one spoke again. Naruto stared at her, throat tight. She shut them down. For me. Hotaru turned back as if nothing had happened. Focus. Naruto bent over his notes, pride simmering in his chest. Shikamaru smirked faintly. Traps tighter than I thought. Dismissal. Evening. The bell rang. Voices surged as notebooks slammed shut and feet stamped toward the door. Naruto stretched, aching but strangely lighter. Uzumaki. Hotaru stood at the gate, bag on her shoulder. Calm. Waiting. Walk me home. He scratched his cheek, ears red. You're really bossy. Efficient. Shikamaru trailed behind them, muttering, troublesome. Blondie's already stuck. Naruto glared back. What's that supposed to mean? Shikamaru only smirked, half-lidded. Too late to warn him now. Evening. Nara compound again. Lanterns glowed warm across the porch. The deer shifted lazily in the paddock. The smell of grilled fish curled through the air. Yoshino looked up from the table, brows lifting. Well, again. Naruto froze. I can leave if it's. Sit. Yoshino interrupted, smiling. You helped last night. You've earned it. Hotaru slipped past him without a word, setting her bag down. Shikaku tapped ash. The gate thudded shut behind Naruto, his footsteps fading down the lane. Crickets hummed. The lantern swung in the evening breeze. Hotaru lingered on the porch, arms folded. Her shadow stretched long across the boards, steady as stone. Shikamaru slid into view, hands in his pockets, expression lazy but eyes sharp. So, he drawled it out, lips twitching. When did you decide to bring your boyfriend home? Shikamaru smirked, undeterred. Could have fooled me. You make him sit with you. Walk you home. Eat supper at our table. Twice. Hotaru exhaled through her nose, calm, refusing to rise. I told him to. He listened. Efficient. Yoshino's laugh drifted from the kitchen doorway, soft but sly. Efficient, is it? That's one word for it. Hotaru's shoulders stiffened. Shikaku leaned against the frame beside his wife, pipe smoldering, dark eyes unreadable. He studied his daughter a long moment before grunting, Just that. But the weight in it made Hotaru's jaw tighten. Don't look at me like that, she muttered. Yoshino tilted her head, amused. We're not looking. Just noticing. Shikamaru yawned, stretching his arms behind his head. Noticing that the troublesome blonde doesn't even know he's already caught. Hotaru turned away, hiding the faintest flush under her hair. Shikaku exhaled smoke, voice mild but edged. Persistent. He'll need to be. Especially if you keep pulling him in. For a long moment, the porch was quiet but for the creak of the lantern. Hotaru's lips curved faintly, the barest smirk. Good. I prefer persistent. The teasing. Yoshino stepped closer, grinned sharp. You know, dear, you've never dragged anyone home before. Not for supper. Not twice. Mother. Hotaru warned, voice flat. Shikamaru smirked. Boyfriend. He repeated under his breath, clearly enjoying himself. Hotaru's glare cut sharp. He's not. Not yet. Yoshino's eyes gleamed. A faint heat touched Hotaru's ears, but she kept her tone even. He listens. That's all. Listens, eats with us, helps with dishes, thanks us properly. Yoshino ticked off each point. Yes. A polite boy. And persistent. You could do worse. Shikaku rumbled with a low chuckle. Persistent, again, seems to be the word of the night. Yoshino's grin widened. Maybe we should prepare for a new son-in-law one day. Shikaku had just taken a sip of tea. He snorted hard, choking, tea spraying from his nose as he barked into laughter. Shikamaru doubled over, wheezing. Troublesome, I thought he was gonna choke. Hotaru's face turned scarlet. Mother. Yoshino fanned herself, laughing. What? He's sweet. And look at you, red as a tomato. I haven't seen you this flustered since you were 5. Shikaku wiped his sleeve, still chuckling, eyes crinkled with rare mirth. A new son-in-law. You'll kill me yet, woman. Hotaru spun on her heel, stalking toward her room with her head high and her ears burning. I'm going to bed. Her family's laughter followed her down the hall. Hotaru's room, night. The sliding door shut behind her with a soft click. The laughter on the porch dulled, muffled through the paper walls. Hotaru leaned against the frame, arms still folded, heartbeat annoyingly quick. Son-in-law, honestly. Her ears still burned from Yoshino's words, from Shikaku's rare burst of laughter. She could still see Naruto's awkward grin across the table, the way he'd stumbled over chopsticks but spoken about her like she'd hung the stars. Idiot. Her gaze drifted to the low desk by the window, her notes stacked neat, ink drying from earlier. She set her satchel down beside them, fingers brushing the paper. But he listens. He fights like a storm, sloppy and loud, but when I speak, he listens. He shifts. He tries. She exhaled, slow, steady. Outside, the deer stirred in the paddock, hooves soft in the grass. Hokage, he said, bold. Maybe impossible, but if he keeps clawing forward like that, maybe not. The faintest smile tugged her lips. And if he does climb that high, then I'll already be standing at his side. Lazy. Comfortable. In the shade. She blew out the lantern, shadows swallowing the room. Her family's laughter echoed faintly still, but in the dark, Hotaru's smirk lingered. Troublesome, but mine. Next morning, academy gates. The morning air was crisp, carrying the smell of pine and damp stone. The academy gates loomed tall, chatter still faint as only a handful of students trickled in. Hotaru stood at the post, arms folded, her expression calm as always. Shikamaru leaned beside her, slouched with his hands shoved deep into his pockets. Troublesome, he muttered, stifling a yawn. Why are we even here early? You're never early. Hotaru's gaze didn't shift from the road. Efficiency. Shikamaru cracked an eye open, brow arched. Efficiency, or waiting on a certain blonde. Her lips twitched, the faintest ghost of a smirk. Observing. Shikamaru snorted. Observing a crush. Before she could answer, footsteps echoed on stone. Naruto appeared at the corner, bag bouncing against his hip, hair as wild as the grin already spreading across his face. Oi, you're already here. He jogged up, panting lightly. I thought I'd beat everyone today. Shikamaru groaned. Troublesome. Guess that makes you, what, 3rd place? Naruto's jaw dropped. 3rd. Wait. No, that doesn't count. Lazybones, you don't even try. And Hotaru. He cut off, eyes narrowing. Wait a second. Did you plan this? Hotaru's smirk was sharp, unreadable. Efficient, she said simply, stepping toward the gates. Naruto blinked, flustered. What's that even mean? Means she was waiting on you, Shikamaru muttered, dragging himself along after them. Naruto flushed to his ears. Shut up. Hotaru's gaze flicked back once, calm, deliberate. Hurry up, Uzumaki. You'll sit beside me again. Naruto stumbled at the certainty in her tone, then broke into a grin that spread ear to ear. Why you bet I will. Shikamaru sighed. Traps getting tighter every day. Classroom, morning. The room smelled faintly of chalk and ink. Students shuffled to their seats, chatter buzzing, chairs scraping. Naruto strode in behind Hotaru, still flushed from being ordered to follow her inside. Without hesitation, she slid into her desk and tipped her head toward the chair beside her. Naruto hesitated only a second before dropping into it. His grin was wide, ears still red. Whispers rippled instantly. Since when does he sit there? Dead last with the Nara girl. Why's she letting him? Naruto stiffened, about to snap. Hotaru turned her head, gaze slicing the row behind them. The whispers died in their throats. Uruka stepped in, ledger under his arm. He began roll call smoothly, eyes scanning the room, then stopped mid-breath. His chalk hovered, blinking once, twice. Naruto. His brows pulled together. You're not. He glanced at the empty desk in the back row, in your usual seat. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, laughing nervously. Hey, guess not. Hotaru's tone was even, final. He sits here now. The silence that followed was sharp. Uruka blinked again, mouth parting, then shut it with a resigned sigh. Fine. Just pay attention. Naruto pumped a fist under the desk, triumphant. She said it like it was nothing. Like I belong here already. Hotaru's smirk was faint as she opened her notes. Efficient, she murmured. Naruto grinned, heart thumping. Yeah, efficient. Lessons. Morning to midday. History sprawled across the board, wars and treaties in chalk. Naruto scribbled furiously until Hotaru slid her neat notes closer. Patterns, not names, she whispered. They repeat. Strong pushes, weak scramble. Like storms, Naruto muttered back, grinning as it clicked. Science followed. She whispered again. Rivers. Spines the main stream. Naruto's hand shot up. The arms and legs branch from the spine. Uruka blinked. Correct. Whispers rose, eyes turning. Dead last got one right. Biology came next. Muscles burn in order, she said, tapping diagrams. Train smarter, not harder. So that's why I always gas out, Naruto muttered. Geopolitics last. Hotaru traced borders. Sand fights fast. Stone defends. Leaf ambushes. Naruto grinned, raising his hand. That's why Leaf moves faster in wars. Uruka paused, then nodded. Exactly right. Naruto's chest swelled. That's 3. In one morning. Hotaru's pencil didn't pause. Patterns, she murmured. Naruto beamed. Got it. Patterns. Afternoon. Training grounds. The sun burned higher, shadows stretching across the packed dirt circle. Students lined up as Mizuki took charge, Uruka staying inside with his grading. Mizuki's eyes swept the class, lingering on Naruto with that too smooth smile. Stances first. Then sparring. Naruto squared up, sweating. Mizuki corrected others but never him. Hotaru's voice cut instead. Higher. Ribs open. Naruto flushed, fixing it. I was about to. Too slow, she said calmly. The drills rolled into sparring. Uzumaki, step in, Mizuki called. His smile sharpened. Against Hideki. Naruto braced. Hotaru's words echoed in his head. Shoulders loose. Elbow higher. Weight balanced. The match began. Hideki lunged. Naruto blocked, shoved him back a step. Gasps rose. Hideki swung again. Naruto ducked too low. Shift your hips. Hotaru barked. Naruto twisted, snapping momentum into a counter shove. Hideki stumbled. More gasps. Mizuki cut it short. Enough. Winner. Hideki. Naruto froze. What? But I. Hotaru's gaze steadied him. You improved. That's enough. His chest heaved, but slowly, he nodded. Mizuki's jaw ticked. Surprise test. Training grounds. Just as students thought it was over, Mizuki raised his hand. Not so fast. Sit. We're not done. Groans rippled. He pulled out a stack of papers, smile too tight. Surprise written test. History, chakra theory, tactics. If you want to be shinobi, prove it on paper. Naruto's stomach dropped. Figures. Hotaru sat beside him, calm. Right. I can't, he muttered. Patterns. Rivers. Storms. Start there. Naruto scribbled furiously, filling the page with the anchors she drilled into him. Chakra rivers. Wars like storms. Borders shaping supply. Mizuki prowled. His smirk faltered when he saw Naruto's sheet crowded with answers instead of blank. Time was called. Papers gathered. Naruto's hand ached, but his grin spread wide. I actually filled it. Hotaru's lips curved faintly. Efficient. Mizuki's eyes narrowed before he forced his smile back. Dismissed. Dismissal. Academy gates. Students scattered, chattering about bruises and unfair tests. Naruto stretched, ready to drag himself home, when his sleeve jerked tight. Hotaru tugged his arm, face calm. Come on. Where? The compound. Whispers followed them out the gate. Third night in a row. She's dragging him again. Naruto's ears burned. Why you don't gotta? I mean, twice was already. Mother cooked extra, Hotaru said simply. Naruto tripped over his feet. She knew I was coming. Her smirk flicked sharp. Efficient. Naruto's grin broke wide as his heart hammered. 3 nights. She really meant it. Shikamaru trailed after, hands in pockets, sighing. Troublesome. At this rate he'll never escape. The lanterns of the Nara compound flickered ahead, warm against the dusk. The lanterns glowed warm against the dusk, deer shifting in the paddocks beyond the fence. The wooden gate creaked as Hotaru pushed it open, Naruto still tugged at her side, ears red. Yoshino stood waiting on the porch, arms folded, a sly smile tugging her lips. Well, she said, eyes sliding from her daughter to the boy at her elbow. 3 nights in a row. I was beginning to think I should set an extra place permanently. Naruto froze mid-step, nearly tripping. T3. I mean, it's not like, he stammered helplessly. Hotaru's face stayed calm, but a faint flush touched her ears. Mother. Yoshino's smirk only deepened. Don't. Mother. Me. You drag him home every evening and I'm supposed to believe it's just coincidence. Shikamaru yawned as he trailed in behind them. Troublesome. She's not letting him escape, that's for sure. Yoshino laughed, light and amused, before turning toward the kitchen. Come inside, Naruto. Supper's hot. Naruto blinked, scratching the back of his head, grin spreading despite himself. She really wanted me here again. Hotaru brushed past him, expression steady, though her smirk lingered just enough for her mother to catch it. Supper. Nara household. The table was already set when they stepped inside, steam curling from bowls of miso and grilled fish, rice stacked high. The smell wrapped around Naruto's stomach, making it growl loud enough for Shikamaru to smirk. They took their places. Shikamaru slouched, Hotaru composed, Naruto stiff at first until Yoshino slid a bowl in front of him. Eat, she said warmly. You'll need it after drills. Naruto blinked, ears red. Thank you, ma'am. He dug in fast, chopsticks clumsy but eager. Yoshino settled across the table, her eyes glinting with curiosity. So, Naruto, how's school going? Any trouble keeping up? Naruto froze mid-bite, rice half chewed. His jaw worked awkwardly before he swallowed. I mean, it's going a lot better now, actually. Shikaku's brow lifted, pipe set aside. Better. Naruto nodded quickly, face bright. Yeah, I used to mess up everything, but Hotaru, he cut himself off, glancing sideways, then barreled through anyway. She explained stuff. Makes it click, you know. Like rivers, storms, all that. I even got answers right today. Hotaru's chopsticks paused for just a beat before resuming, her face calm, unreadable. Yoshino's smile spread slow and sly. Oh, does she now? Naruto, oblivious, grinned wide. Yeah, she's way smarter than me. Probably smarter than everyone in class. If she keeps helping me, he stopped again, face going red. I mean, I'll definitely pass next time. Shikamaru muttered into his rice, troublesome. He's digging his own grave. Hotaru's foot nudged him under the table, sharp. Eat. Shikamaru coughed into his tea, smirking. Yoshino leaned her cheek into her palm, eyes glittering as she watched her daughter's ears slowly turn pink. Well, isn't that sweet? A study partner and a supper guest. Naruto's laugh was nervous, but his grin never left. This feels nice. Like I belong here. The clatter of chopsticks and soft hum of conversation filled the room. Naruto relaxed, shoulders unwinding as he chased every grain of rice from his bowl. Hotaru set her chopsticks down neatly, turning her gaze to her father. Father, what do you know about Mizuki? Shikaku's brow ticked up, slow and measured. Your instructor. She nodded once. He favors some students, ignores others. Today he cut Uzumaki short when he was winning. Then he gave us a written test right after drills. Naruto stiffened, nearly dropping his chopsticks. Why, you noticed that too? Efficiency, Hotaru said simply, eyes never leaving her father. Shikaku leaned back, pipe in hand, smoke curling from his lips. Mizuki. He closed his eyes for a moment, thinking. Too smooth, always smiling, but never warm. The type who watches more than he teaches. Yoshino frowned faintly. The kind who forgets he's meant to guide children, not compete with them. Naruto swallowed, throat dry. So, it's not just me. He really is. Shikaku opened his eyes, fixing Naruto with a level look. You'll find plenty like him in this village. Men who protect their pride more than their students. If he's cutting you short, it means he sees something that unsettles him. Naruto blinked, stunned. Sees something in me. Hotaru's lips curved, faint and knowing. Persistent, she murmured. Naruto's chest thudded, heat rising to his face. Shikaku grunted. Persistent, reckless, stubborn as hell. Those are traits that scare weak teachers. He took another drag from his pipe. Ignore him. Focus on those who sharpen you, not those who dull you. Hotaru's smirk widened just a hair, satisfied. Understood. Naruto stared down at his half-empty bowl, a slow grin tugging at his mouth. They believe me. They see it too. The smoke from Shikaku's pipe curled in the rafters, the air thick with his words. Naruto sat straighter, his grin flickering but holding. Yoshino broke the silence with a softer voice. And speaking of sharpening, when will those grades be coming out, Naruto? Naruto stiffened. G grades. Her smile was gentle but edged, the same one that pinned Shikamaru when he tried to wriggle out of chores. Yes. The academy must be testing you soon, if Mizuki's already handing out written papers. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, sheepish. Tomorrow, I think. Maybe the day after. Hotaru's eyes flicked toward him, calm. You filled the page. That alone is improvement. Naruto flushed. Yeah, but what if it's still not enough? What if Then you study harder, Yoshino cut in, voice steady. And you eat properly. And you keep showing up. Because improvement isn't nothing, Naruto. It's proof you're moving. Shikamaru leaned his chin into his palm, sighing. Troublesome. If you're already filling pages, you'll probably scrape by. The real pain's when he jerked his thumb toward Hotaru, decides you're not done yet. Then you'll be stuck with twice the drills and none of the naps. Hotaru's chopsticks tapped lightly against her bowl. Or you could join him, lazybones. TCH. Shikamaru looked away, muttering, still troublesome. Shikaku exhaled through his nose, a low rumble of agreement with his wife. She's right, Naruto. A grade doesn't measure persistence. But persistence will change the grade. Hotaru smirked faintly. Efficient. Naruto looked between them all, cheeks red, chest warm. When was the last time anyone talked about my grades like they mattered? The night air was cool, cicadas buzzing in the distance. Naruto bowed awkwardly to Yoshino and Shikaku at the porch, grin lopsided. Thanks again for supper. It was, amazing, like always. Yoshino waved him off with a knowing smile. Shikaku gave a quiet grunt of acknowledgement. He flushed, stammering, why you didn't have to pull me back just to. Her grip didn't release. She studied him a moment longer, then asked, almost offhand but too deliberate to be casual. What are you doing this weekend? When school's out? Naruto blinked, thrown. Weekend. Nothing, really. Training. Eating instant ramen. Sleeping in. Why? Hotaru's smirk sharpened. Good. Then you'll be at the compound. Mother already agreed. Naruto's jaw dropped. Wait. What? Her hand loosened, sleeve slipping free. Tomorrow, Uzumaki. Don't be late. The cicadas hummed loud in the pause that followed. Naruto's heart thudded as he stumbled through the gate, ears burning. She actually planned for me to come back on the weekend. Behind him, Hotaru's smirk lingered unseen. Persistent. Just as I thought. From the porch, Yoshino watched her daughter's shadow stretching long across the yard. Her lips curved in a sly smile, eyes glittering with quiet amusement. Hooked him clean, didn't you, girl? After the gate, the latch clicked shut behind Naruto. His footsteps faded into the dark street, cicadas filling the silence. Hotaru turned toward the house, calm as ever, only the faintest pink brushing her ears. She started up the steps to the porch. Yoshino was waiting at the top, arms folded, that sly smile still fixed on her face. Well, she murmured, voice low so Shikamaru and Shikaku wouldn't hear from inside. 3 nights of supper. And now tugging him back at the gate. Asking about weekends. Hotaru's shoulders stiffened, jaw tightening. Mother. Yoshino's grin widened. Don't. Mother. Me. You're not subtle, dear. Not with me. You've already claimed him, whether the poor boy knows it or not. Hotaru's ears flushed red. She climbed another step, then paused, turning back. Her voice stayed calm, though the flicker in her eyes betrayed more. If you want to be useful, help me get him out of that jumpsuit. Yoshino blinked, then barked a laugh, sharp and delighted. So it begins. My daughter plotting wardrobe changes already. Hotaru's gaze didn't waver. It's inefficient. Bright orange announces him before he even enters the fight. Yoshino's grin softened into something knowing, almost proud. I'll take him shopping this week. Leave it to me. Hotaru gave a single nod, then turned down the hall, mask of composure back in place. Yoshino watched her go, still smiling. Efficient, or maybe just protective. Either way, that boy's not going anywhere. Hotaru's room, night. The door slid shut behind her with a soft thump. Shadows wrapped the room, the lantern casting long streaks across the floor. Hotaru sat at her desk, notes stacked in their neat rows. She pulled one sheet closer, pen hovering, but her eyes didn't move across the ink. Her hand was still warm from tugging Naruto's sleeve. 3 nights. He didn't resist once. Not really. Even when he tried to argue, he followed. Every time. She set the pen down, folding her arms on the desk. Her smirk flickered, small and sharp. Mother's right. He is claimed. He just doesn't see it yet. Her gaze drifted to the small chalked diagrams she'd made earlier, chakra pathways, the war cycles, a map of the 5 great nations. Notes she'd already mastered. And he learns faster than he thinks. Rivers, storms, borders, he remembered them all. Persistent. Stubborn. He could carry himself far. She leaned back, staring up at the ceiling beams. Hokage. Impossible, or maybe not. If he's serious, if he claws his way up there, then I'll already be at his side. Lazy. Comfortable. Shade. Power. Freedom. All bought with his persistence. Her lips curved faintly. But first, the jumpsuit has to go. The lantern sputtered as she blew it out. Darkness swallowed the room, leaving only the faint hum of cicadas and the warmth still lingering in her hand. Tomorrow. Before class. No excuses. The kitchen smelled of grilled fish and steamed rice. Yoshino moved with practiced ease, sliding vegetables into lacquered boxes, her hands steady as ever. 2 bentos sat open, Shikamaru's and Hotaru's. She set the lids aside, then reached for a 3rd box, smaller but polished just the same. Yoshino's lips curved. Not a guest. A boy who keeps getting dragged to our table deserves a proper lunch. Hotaru, already dressed, adjusted her satchel without a word. Yoshino glanced at her daughter, eyes narrowing just slightly. And since you were the one who asked me to get him out of that jumpsuit, you're coming with us after class. Clothing store. No excuses. Hotaru's hand paused on the satchel strap. Mother. Yoshino's grin spread slow and knowing. Don't. Mother. Me. You wanted efficiency. Well, efficiency means making sure he actually tries things on. Shikamaru barked a laugh, leaning against the frame. Troublesome. You've got him and now you've got her too. Smart move, Mom. Hotaru exhaled through her nose, sharp but resigned. Efficient, she muttered, taking the satchel with the 3rd box tucked inside. Exactly. Yoshino's smile lingered as she turned back to the stove. Hook them both. Now let's reel them in properly. Academy gates. Morning. The village buzzed with early light, shinobi hurrying along the rooftops and merchants shouting as they opened stalls. Hotaru and Shikamaru stood by the academy gates, the third bento tucked under her arm. Shikamaru slouched against the fence post, hands in his pockets, eyes half closed. Troublesome. You know, you keep dragging him here every night, walking him to the gate, now waiting for him in the morning. Hotaru's gaze stayed fixed on the street ahead. Efficiency. Shikamaru's smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. Efficiency? Huh, looks more like a girlfriend waiting on her boyfriend. Hotaru's head tilted just slightly, eyes narrowing. Shikamaru lifted a lazy hand, waving it off. Don't glare at me. I'm just saying what everyone's already thinking. The trap's set. Poor guy doesn't even know he's caught. Her expression didn't crack, but the faint pink brushing her ears betrayed her. Persistent, she muttered. Shikamaru chuckled low, leaning heavier on the post. Persistence, one word for it. Helpless might be better. Hotaru didn't answer. She spotted the flash of orange down the street and straightened, grip tightening on the bento box. Shikamaru grinned, muttering just loud enough for her to hear. There's your boyfriend now. Orange blurred down the street as Naruto jogged toward them, grin wide, hand lifted high. Oi, Hotaru. Shikamaru. Hotaru stepped forward before he could even catch his breath, pressing the neat bento into his hands. For you. Naruto blinked, stunned. F for me. Hotaru's gaze was steady, unflinching. Mother made it. You'll eat properly today. Naruto's face burned red as he clutched the box to his chest. Thank you. Tell her I'll pay her back somehow. Hotaru tilted her head, calm. You can. After school. Today is Friday. Naruto blinked again. Yeah, you're coming with us. Clothes shopping. He nearly dropped the box. Clothes? Wah. Shopping. Shikamaru snorted, shaking his head as he pushed off the post. Told you. Boyfriend treatment already. Hotaru stopped mid-step, turning just enough to pin her brother with a cool stare. Her lips curved faintly into a smirk. For that comment, you're coming too. Shikamaru froze. What? Me? No way. Troublesome. Her smirk widened. Efficiency. You'll carry the bags. Naruto gaped between them, speechless, face still crimson. Shikamaru groaned, dragging a hand down his face. Unbelievable. Dragged into this mess. Hotaru turned back toward the doors, unbothered. No excuses. Naruto scrambled after her, still holding the box like it was a mission scroll, while Shikamaru trailed behind, muttering curses about troublesome sisters. The trio slipped through the academy gates, the yard still quiet with only a handful of students milling about. The morning sun cut long shadows across the packed dirt, the cedar tree at the far edge offering cool shade. Hotaru walked straight there, settling down with her back against the rough bark. She crossed one leg over the other, hand extending without a word. Naruto blinked. Huh. Her eyes flicked toward him, calm but expectant. Books. Books. He clutched the bento tighter, confused. Notes. Stances. History. 30 minutes before class. Efficient use of time. Her palm stayed out, unmoving. Naruto's jaw tightened. TCH. He shifted awkwardly, then dug into his bag, pulling free the battered notebooks. You're really not gonna let me breathe, are you? Hotaru smirked faintly. Breathing's permitted. Failure isn't. Shikamaru dropped down in the grass nearby, arms folded behind his head, eyes already half closed. Troublesome. You're doomed, Naruto. She'll never let you slack again. Hotaru didn't so much as glance at her brother. She flipped open the notebook, scanning the messy handwriting with a sharp eye. Dates are wrong. Chakra formula incomplete. We'll fix this before Aruka asks again. Naruto slumped against the trunk beside her, ears red but grin tugging at his lips. Guess I don't have a choice, huh? Her smirk held steady. Correct. She flipped another page, eyes narrowing at the messy scrawl. Letters wobbled, some squashed tight, others stretched too long. This, she said flatly, tapping the page, as inefficient. Fast isn't useful if no one can read it. Not even you. She slid the notebook into her lap, then reached into her own satchel, pulling free a spare brush and small ink pot. With practiced precision, she dipped the tip and held it out to him. Again. Properly. Naruto hesitated, scratching the back of his head. I'm not really good at this stuff. Then you learn. Stroke by stroke. I'll guide your hand. His throat worked. Slowly, he took the brush. Hotaru shifted closer, steadying his wrist with her fingers. The contact made his ears burn, but she didn't falter, her voice calm and clipped. Straight line. Breathe. Don't push so hard. Naruto exhaled and dragged the brush across the page. The line wavered, crooked at the end. Better, Hotaru murmured, adjusting his grip. Again. Control, not speed. They repeated it, again and again, each stroke steadier than the last. His scrawl began to shrink into something legible. Not perfect, but no longer wild scratches. Naruto grinned, wide and boyish, staring at the page. Hey, that actually looks decent. Hotaru's smirk curved faintly. Persistence improves the form. Efficient. Shikamaru cracked one eye open from the grass, watching the two of them bend over the notebook. He muttered under his breath, troublesome. At this rate she's gonna train him into a husband, not just a shinobi. Hotaru ignored him. Her hand lingered just long enough on Naruto's wrist before she let go. Naruto flexed his fingers around the brush, chest warm. No one's ever taught me like this before. Hotaru closed the notebook and stood in one fluid motion. Good enough. For now. Naruto exhaled, grinning, ink smudged on his fingers. Hey, didn't think I'd ever get writing down. Her gaze cut to him, sharp. You're still unbalanced. Naruto blinked. Wah. Stand. She tapped the ground with her sandal. Naruto scrambled up after her, clutching the bento awkwardly in one hand. We're doing this here. Efficient, she replied simply. With a groan, he set the box aside and squared himself in what he thought was a decent stance, knees bent, fists up. Hotaru circled once, eyes cool. Then she stepped in close, pressing her palm lightly against his shoulder. Too tight. Relax, or you'll burn energy. She nudged his elbow down. Guard lower. You're not Sasuke. You won't win by mimicking him. Naruto flushed, trying to adjust. Fine, fine. Her hands slid to his hips, shifting them a fraction. Wait here. Even. Otherwise, one push and you're flat. His heart hammered at the contact, ears blazing red. Why does she have to stand so close? Shikamaru cracked both eyes open from the grass, smirking. Troublesome. He's never gonna survive you bossing him around like that. Hotaru ignored him. She stepped back, folding her arms. Better. Again. Naruto reset his stance, this time more stable, less jittery. His grin tugged back in place. Hey, feels stronger already. Hotaru's smirk curved faintly. Correct. Academy classroom, morning. The bell clanged, echoing through the yard. Students spilled inside in noisy clumps, voices bouncing off the walls. Hotaru slipped through the door first, Shikamaru trailing lazy as always. Naruto followed, bento still tucked carefully under his arm. He didn't hesitate. No nervous glance, no stammer. He walked straight past the rows of curious eyes and dropped into the seat beside her. Hotaru arched one brow, faint smirk tugging at her lips. Correct. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck, grinning sheepishly. Didn't think you'd want me anywhere else. Shikamaru slouched down into the seat behind them, muttering just loud enough, boyfriend instincts already kicking in. Troublesome. A ripple of whispers spread through the classroom. Snickers. Curious looks. Someone hissed. Again, she actually lets him sit there. Naruto's shoulders stiffened, fists curling under the desk. Before he could snap, Hotaru's voice slid in low, firm. Ignore them. He glanced sideways. Her gaze was steady, her tone calm, her presence grounding. The whispers faded, like static drowned out by silence. Naruto exhaled slow, tension bleeding away. She's right. Doesn't matter. Not with her next to me. The room quieted as Aruka entered, stack of papers under his arm. His eyes swept the class, lingering for only a breath on Naruto and Hotaru sitting together, not with surprise, but with a small nod of acknowledgement, as though he'd already accepted the change. Then he set the stack down. Before we begin, Aruka said, voice carrying, your test grades from yesterday. The chatter died in an instant. A few students straightened in their seats, others groaned, already dreading the results. Aruka started down the rows, calling names, passing sheets into waiting hands. Murmurs rose, cheers from those who'd done well, complaints from those who hadn't. Naruto sat stiff, bouncing his knee under the desk. Please don't be awful, please don't be awful. Hotaru's eyes stayed forward, expression unreadable. At last, Aruka stopped at their row. Uzumaki. Naruto swallowed hard as the paper slid onto his desk. His eyes darted down, expecting red ink bleeding everywhere. But instead, 72. Naruto blinked. 72. Not failing. Not even close. His hands shook as he stared at the number, grin threatening to split his face in half. I passed. A sharp whisper to his right. No way he scored that high. Another hissed. Probably cheated. Naruto's grin faltered. Hotaru tapped her pen once against the desk, a quiet signal. He glanced sideways. Her smirk was faint, calm, certain. Correct, she murmured. The tension drained from his chest, replaced by pride that warmed him all the way through. He sat straighter, paper gripped tight in his hands. No cheating. Just her. Just us. Behind them, Shikamaru cracked one eye open. Troublesome. Guess she really is making him smarter. At the front, Mizuki's eyes narrowed as he scanned the room, lingering too long on Naruto's smile. The corner of his mouth twitched before he masked it with his usual grin. Aruka cleared his throat. All right. Settle down. Open your books. History first. Naruto was still staring at the paper like it might vanish, grin stretching wider with each glance. He started to fold it, reaching for his backpack. A pale hand slid across his desk, plucking the sheet free before he could react. Oi, Naruto blurted, nearly jumping out of his chair. That's mine. Hotaru tucked the paper neatly into her satchel without even looking at him. Incorrect. It's proof. Mother will want to see it. Naruto gawked. Proof. Wait. You're gonna show her. His face flamed red, the earlier pride wobbling into panic. Hotaru's gaze stayed calm, voice clipped. 72 is not shameful. It's progress. Efficient progress. Shikamaru cracked one eye open from behind them, smirking. Troublesome. You're not even allowed to keep your own grades. Mom's going to frame it, you watch. Naruto groaned, burying his face in his arms. Why do I feel like I just lost control of my life? Before he could recover, Hotaru reached across again, pulling his battered notebook closer. She flipped it open to a blank page, smoothing it with one hand, and slid her pen into his fingers. Naruto blinked, caught completely off guard. Hey, I didn't even. Right, she said simply. Aruka will begin history in 2 minutes. You'll copy every point, neatly, or we repeat the cedar lesson at lunch. Naruto slumped in his seat, groaning. Why, you're worse than Aruka-sensei. Shikamaru snickered again, not bothering to lift his head. Troublesome. At this rate she'll have you house-trained by graduation. Naruto muttered into his collar, ears burning. Great. Now they're both against me. Hotaru's smirk flickered, small and satisfied, as she folded her arms and waited for Aruka to begin. The noon bell clanged, and the classroom erupted as students grabbed food and poured outside. Groups clustered under trees, on the steps, along the fence. Hotaru led the way back to the cedar's shade, calm as ever, while Shikamaru shuffled behind, hands stuffed in his pockets. Naruto trailed close, clutching the neat bento box Yoshino had sent with him. They sat in the grass, the smell of grilled fish and steamed rice drifting out as Naruto slid the lid open. His stomach growled loud enough to make him flush. Oi! This is amazing. He said, eyes wide at the careful cuts of vegetables and rice shaped into tidy triangles. He shoveled a bite into his mouth, grinning. Way better than instant ramen. Eat slower, Hotaru said calmly, pulling his notebook across her lap before he could grab it. You'll choke. Naruto nearly did, coughing as he swallowed. Hey, that's mine. Incorrect, she said, flipping the page with steady fingers. This is half legible. Lunch's review. Shikamaru dropped back in the grass, smirking. Troublesome. You've got him on a leash already. Next thing you know, Mom will make him sit at the dinner table every night. Hotaru ignored her brother, tapping the page with her pen. Rewrite this formula neatly. If you don't finish by the bell, we repeat stance drills after class. Naruto groaned, dragging his hand down his face. You're worse than Iruka-sensei. But he set the chopsticks aside and picked up the pen. She leaned closer, pointing at the scrawl. Storms, rivers, borders. Remember. Naruto's hand jerked, then steadied. His brow furrowed as the connections lined up in his head. Oh, that's what she meant. Storms repeat like wars. Rivers split like chakra pathways. Borders, traps, supply. The pen scratched smoother this time. The lines were straighter, the words clearer. Hotaru's smirk curved faintly. Correct. Shikamaru leaned back in the grass, arms folded behind his head. His eyes drifted half shut as he listened to his sister drilling Naruto between bites of rice. Troublesome, he muttered. Hotaru didn't glance up, pen tapping against the page. Again. Naruto groaned, chopsticks in one hand, pen in the other. You're relentless. Shikamaru smirked faintly, then let out a long sigh. With a lazy roll to his feet, he dusted himself off. I'm going to find Ino and Choji. Less noise. Naruto blinked. Oi. What's that supposed to mean? Shikamaru stretched his arms overhead, already wandering toward the shade where Ino's laugh carried across the yard. You'll figure it out. Troublesome. Hotaru didn't even look after him, only smoothed the paper flat again. Focus. He's irrelevant. Naruto stared at her, ears red. Alone. She wanted me here, alone. He hunched back over the notebook, pen scratching steadier than before. A grin tugged at the corner of his mouth. TCH. Fine. But only 'cause you're bossy. Hotaru's smirk deepened. Correct. Naruto glanced down at the page, the strokes and notes finally lining up in his head. She's not just bossy, she's making it make sense. For the first time, I get it. Hotaru studied him for a moment, then, almost casually, asked, what do you like? Naruto blinked. Food, training, people, what do you prefer? Her tone stayed even, but her eyes were sharp, watching him closely. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck, face heating. Ramen, obviously. Training too, I guess. I like proving I'm not useless. He hesitated, softer. And, I like being around people. When they don't hate me. Hotaru nodded, filing it away without judgment. Dislikes. Naruto frowned. The whispers. The looks. Being ignored. And milk. Hate the stuff. For the first time, her smirk softened into something almost like a smile. Efficient. Now I know. Naruto stared at her, wide-eyed. She actually wanted to know about me. Shikamaru's POV. Lunch yard. Shikamaru stretched his arms over his head, wandering across the yard toward the shade where Ino and Choji had already spread their lunches. The air smelled of dumplings and grilled meat, making his stomach growl even though he'd claimed he wasn't hungry. Yo, Choji greeted around a mouthful of chips, sliding the bag toward him. Shikamaru flopped down beside them, accepting one with a lazy shrug. Thanks. Ino leaned forward, sharp eyes narrowing. So, what's with your sister? Shikamaru raised a brow. What about her? Ino gestured back toward the cedar tree where Hotaru and Naruto sat close, heads bent over a notebook. She's suddenly glued to Naruto of all people. Since when does Hotaru care? Shikamaru crunched the chip slowly, eyes half lidded as he followed her gaze. Naruto's pen scratched awkwardly. Hotaru calmly adjusting his grip. The idiot was grinning like he'd just won a prize. Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome, she's interested. Ino blinked. Interested? In him? Shikamaru shrugged, smirk tugging faintly at his mouth. Call it whatever you want. Crush, project, future Hokage husband. Doesn't matter. Once she decides, the trap's already sprung. Poor guy doesn't even know it yet. Choji chuckled, shaking his head. He looks happy, though. Shikamaru tilted his head, giving her a sidelong look. Why do you care, Ino? Her cheeks flushed faintly, though her chin jutted stubbornly. I don't. I'm just saying, it's weird. Shikamaru smirked, leaning back in the grass. Troublesome excuse. Ino huffed, turning away, though her eyes still flicked toward the cedar tree. Back to class. The bell rang sharp, cutting through the yard. Students groaned and scrambled, scattering from their lunch spots. Naruto snapped his notebook shut, stuffing it back into his bag. Hotaru stood smoothly, brushing grass from her skirt. Correct, she said, tone clipped but eyes faintly amused. You didn't waste the period. Naruto grinned, slinging his bag over his shoulder. Hey, guess you're not so bad for a drill sergeant. Her smirk tugged faintly. Efficient. They joined the tide of students filing back into the academy. Shikamaru drifted behind them, hands in his pockets, face unreadable but his eyes sharp as they flicked from his sister to the blonde. Uruka was already at the front when they slid into their seats. Hotaru sat without hesitation. Naruto dropped into the chair beside her like it was his by right now. A few whispers rose again, but one sharp look from her silenced them quick. The afternoon bled into the steady rhythm of lessons, ink scratching across paper, Uruka's voice carrying over the classroom, Mizuki occasionally drifting in and out with errands. Naruto wrote cleaner than he ever had before, each note tighter under Hotaru's steady nudges. By the final bell, his page was filled with legible notes. He stared at them like they were a prize. For once, I actually kept up. Hotaru slid her own notebook shut, smirk faintly satisfied. Correct. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck, grin tugging at his mouth. Yeah, correct. The students spilled back into the yard, day finally done. Academy gates, afternoon. At the open gates, Yoshino Nara stood waiting, arms folded, sharp-eyed as ever. Naruto nearly tripped over his own feet. Hotaru, your mom's here again. Hotaru didn't even blink. Correct. Shikamaru smirked, muttering under his breath, told you. Trap sprung. Yoshino's lips curved into a sly smile as she looked straight at Naruto. Well, you two kept your promise. Time for me to keep mine. Her eyes flicked to the bento box still tucked carefully in his bag. You enjoyed lunch, didn't you? Naruto rubbed the back of his neck, flushing. Why yeah, it was amazing, ma'am. Good, Yoshino said smoothly, already turning on her heel. Now we're going shopping. Naruto froze, face draining. Shopping. Hotaru's hand slipped around his wrist before he could bolt. No excuses. Shikamaru sighed, following with his hands in his pockets. Troublesome. I knew this was coming. Nara Tailor's shop, fitting. Inside, bolts of fabric lined the walls, neatly folded stacks of black and brown cloth beside racks of ready-made shinobi wear. The air smelled of cedar oil and pressed linen. The tailor, a lean man with sharp eyes and ink-stained fingers, bowed as soon as Yoshino entered. Lady Yoshino. Young mistress. Master Shikamaru. His gaze flicked curiously to Naruto. And, guest, Yoshino said smoothly, ushering Naruto forward. He'll need proper clothes. Durable. Fit for training. And no orange. Naruto flinched, ears red. Hey, what's wrong with orange? Everything, Hotaru said flatly. The tailor coughed into his hand to hide a smile, already pulling measuring tape from his pocket. Step forward, boy. Naruto hesitated, but Yoshino's hand pressed gently against his back, nudging him toward the platform. Up. He climbed it with the reluctance of a man walking to the gallows. Hotaru folded her arms, watching with sharp eyes. Lose the jacket. You'll need something that actually lasts a spar. Naruto muttered, peeling off the fabric. You're all against me. Shikamaru smirked from the corner chair. Pretty much. The tailor circled with his tape, humming. Average build. Wider shoulders than expected. Growing room needed. He returned with a small stack of folded garments. First came gray pants, loose at the ankle. Hotaru tilted her head once, unimpressed. Too soft. He'll snag them on the first branch. Next came brown trousers, sturdy but stiff. Naruto tugged at the waistband, grimacing. Feels like cardboard. Correct. Hotaru said again, motioning them away. Finally, the tailor produced a pair of slim-cut black shinobi pants. The cloth hugged firm without binding, ending in neat cuffs that fit cleanly into black sandals. Naruto twisted experimentally, kicking once. Whoa. These actually move right. Hotaru smirked faintly. Acceptable. Shikamaru, sprawled in the chair with a bag of chips Choji had slipped him earlier, muttered, Mom's going to have him uniformed before dinner. Naruto hopped down from the platform, only to freeze when Hotaru blocked his path, one hand holding up a dark green shirt with short sleeves and a high collar. This one, she said simply. Naruto frowned. What's wrong with the black one? It matches. Hotaru's smirk tugged. Too plain. You'll vanish in a crowd. This balances you. Efficient. Yoshino nodded approvingly, arms folded. Good choice, Hotaru. The green brings out his eyes. Naruto flushed crimson. What does that matter? I'm not trying to. Correct. Hotaru interrupted smoothly, shoving the shirt into his hands. He groaned, but slipped it over his head anyway. The cloth settled snug against his shoulders, clean and sharp without the gaudy orange. He caught sight of himself in the mirror, black pants, black sandals, the dark green shirt fitting neatly. Whoa. Hotaru's smirk deepened. Better. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. Troublesome. You're both exhausting. Yoshino turned to the tailor. 5 sets. Pants, sandals, shirt. Same fit. Naruto nearly fell off the platform. F5. Yoshino arched a brow. One is pointless. Shinobi clothes tear, stain, burn. You need spares. Unless you prefer walking around in rags. And no, ma'am. Naruto stammered. Shikamaru muttered, uniformed before dinner. Hotaru straightened his collar, smirk tugging. Efficient. The tailor bowed. They'll be prepared immediately. Street outside the shop, evening. Naruto staggered under the weight of the neatly tied bundles, 5 full sets stacked in his arms. His grin flickered between pride and panic as they stepped out into the street. Thanks for this, really, he said, bowing his head as best he could without dropping the clothes. I'll take good care of 'em. Yoshino's sharp eyes softened, just a touch. She studied the boy for a long moment, then tilted her head, a smile tugging at her mouth. Clothes aren't the only thing a shinobi needs, she said. You'll eat properly too. Why don't you come back to the compound for dinner tonight? Naruto froze mid-step, bundles wobbling dangerously in his arms. Dinner. Again. Hotaru arched a brow, smirk faint. Correct. Shikamaru sighed, scratching at his head. Troublesome. Knew this was coming, but as he watched Naruto clutching those bundles like they were sacred, something tugged at him. Pity. The guy lit up at a hot meal, at clean clothes, at his sister's attention, things so ordinary to Shikamaru he barely noticed them. What kind of life did he have before this, if scraps feel like treasure? Yoshino's thoughts ran sharper. She had passed the boy's apartment often enough, peeling paint, cracked door, shadows clinging to the windows. No child should sleep in a place like that. Certainly not one eating instant noodles night after night. Dank walls breed loneliness. A boy raised in that mold will break. Her smile deepened, decisive. Not if I have a say in it. Hotaru walked half a pace ahead, arms folded as her mind ticked through a list. Notes. Meals. Training. Clothes. He was rough, scattered, but not hopeless. Correct his stance, sharpen his recall, keep him fed. Efficient. By the time he notices, he'll already be moving where I want him. Naruto's ears burned red, but the grin broke through anyway. I'd like that. Yoshino's smile widened, satisfied. Good. Then it's settled. She turned toward the clan path as though it had already been decided. Naruto blinked, hugging the bundles tighter to his chest, heart hammering. Dinner. Like family. The lanterns were lit, casting a warm glow through the wooden halls. From the dining room, laughter and the clatter of dishes drifted as the children settled in, Hotaru keeping her usual calm composure while Naruto tried not to look overwhelmed. Away from the noise, Yoshino slid the door shut behind her and found Shikaku already waiting in the study, a cigarette resting between his fingers, smoke curling lazily toward the ceiling. His sharp eyes flicked toward her, catching the look on her face. Well? He asked. Yoshino folded her arms. The boy can't keep going back to that dank apartment. It's no place for a child. Cold walls, rotting wood, the kind of silence that eats at you. I won't have him return to that after tonight. Shikaku exhaled a thin stream of smoke. You're suggesting he stays here? Correct, she said firmly. The guest room. It's been empty since my cousin left. Clean sheets, space to breathe, a real roof over his head. He needs stability, Shikaku, food, routine, somewhere to belong. If he's to grow into what I think he will, that's the least we can give him. Shikaku leaned back, eyes half-lidded but thoughtful. Troublesome. You've already made up your mind, haven't you? Yoshino's lips curved faintly. Of course. For a long moment, Shikaku was silent, listening to the faint sound of Naruto's laugh drifting down the hall, rare, unguarded, bright. Finally, he tapped ash into the tray and chuckled. Fine. Guest room it is. But remember, Yoshino, once you bring someone into this house, it's not just a favor. It's family. Her smile sharpened, sly and knowing. Our daughter will make sure of that. That earned a low snort from Shikaku, though the corner of his mouth twitched upward. You're not wrong. She's already got him moving to her rhythm. Poor kid doesn't stand a chance. Yoshino stepped into the hall, catching her daughter's eye. She leaned down, voice low. After supper, take Naruto's things and put them in the guest room. Hotaru blinked, eyes widening just for a moment, then a slow grin curved her lips. Correct. Good girl, Yoshino murmured. Guest room. That night. After supper, Hotaru slipped down the hall. Naruto's bundles sat stacked by the entry. She lifted them carefully, carrying them into the unused guest room. Tatami mats clean. Futon folded. Empty chest waiting. One by one, she set his new clothes inside. The sandals she aligned neatly by the door. When she finished, she stood back, arms folded, smirk tugging at her mouth. Efficient. He won't even realize until he sees it himself. Her grin widened as she slid the door shut behind her. Dinner was finished, the table cleared, laughter still echoing faintly through the hall. Naruto bowed low, clutching his new bundles to his chest. Thank you, really. For the food, for the clothes, for everything. I'll get out of your hair now. His grin was sheepish but bright. Don't wanna overstay. He padded to the porch, still beaming, but froze. His smile faltered. The spot by the door where his old sandals should have been was empty. Naruto crouched, patting the floorboards as if they'd simply rolled away. Where'd they go? I swear they were right here. Correct, Hotaru said smoothly, appearing at his side. Naruto jumped. Then where are they? Her smirk tugged wider, eyes glinting in the lantern light. Where they belong. Before he could question her, she turned, walking down the hall toward the guest wing. Naruto trailed after, still confused, until she slid open the unused guest room door. Inside, his jaw nearly hit the floor. The futon was spread neatly across the tatami. His new clothes were stacked inside the chest. And there, by the mat, sat his sandals, aligned perfectly beside the new pair. Naruto blinked, throat tight. Wah! This is correct, Hotaru said, arms folding with quiet satisfaction. Your room. From down the hall, Yoshino's voice carried, calm and final. No child leaves this house for a dank apartment. Not while mine are under my roof. Naruto's ears burned. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Shikamaru leaned lazily against the wall, sighing. Trap's already sprung, and he doesn't even see it yet. Troublesome. Naruto stood frozen in the doorway, bundles clutched to his chest, staring at a room that suddenly belonged to him. Naruto lay sprawled across the futon, one arm thrown out, hair sticking in every direction. His new green shirt was folded neatly on the chair in the corner, Yoshino's work, not his. A soft snore slipped past his mouth. Hotaru leaned against the doorway, arms folded, eyes narrowing just enough to hide the grin tugging her lips. Troublesome idiot. You don't even know you're caught already. She tapped the doorframe with her knuckle, sharp, deliberate. Naruto jerked up, blinking fast. Huh? What? You're going to be late for breakfast, she muttered, already turning. He yawned, swung his legs to the floor. The boards felt cool under his feet. His new outfit was right where Yoshino had folded it, black shinobi pants, sandals set by the chair, and that dark green high-collared shirt. He pulled it on piece by piece, the fabric stiff but clean, nothing like the worn orange he used to drag around. By the time he tugged the collar straight, the house was stirring. Shikamaru shuffled past the doorway, hair sticking up from sleep, half-lidded eyes still heavy. He muttered, "Troublesome mornings," and yawned into his fist. Naruto grinned. "Morning, lazybones." Shikamaru didn't bother answering, just flicked a glance at him, taking in the new clothes, the way Naruto actually looked sharper now, before trudging toward the kitchen. The smell hit next. Rice steaming, fish crackling in oil, miso broth lifting sharp and warm in the air. The Nara household came alive in layers, the clink of bowls set out by Yoshino, the faint shuffle of Shikaku's sandals, his low cough as he lit a cigarette. When Naruto slid into the kitchen, Hotaru was already kneeling at the low table. She shifted just enough to leave space at her side, and he dropped down next to her without hesitation. "'Bout time," she murmured, lips quirking. Naruto scratched the back of his head, grinned sheepish. Shikamaru slouched down on Hotaru's other side, chin propped in his palm, already sighing at the noise. "Straight, Shikamaru," Yoshino called from the stove, setting bowls onto the tray. She glanced at Naruto then, warm and quick. "Good. You're where you belong." The words landed heavy in Naruto's chest, though no one else seemed to notice. For the first time in years, breakfast wasn't instant ramen from a cracked cup, it was family noise, hot food, and a seat waiting for him. Bowls clinked as Yoshino set the tray down. Steam curled from rice, miso, and grilled fish, filling the room with warmth. Everyone shifted closer, the tatami groaning under the weight of the household settling into its rhythm. "Eat before it cools," Yoshino said, sliding bowls out in a neat line. Shikamaru barely lifted his chin. "Troublesome," he muttered, but his chopsticks moved first. Hotaru smirked. "You complain more than you chew. Chewing takes less energy," he said flatly, earning a small snort from their father. Shikaku sat with the quiet weight of a man who didn't need to fill silence. Cigarette already smoldering in the tray, he exhaled a slow stream of smoke and let his eyes flick toward Naruto. "Looks like those clothes fit you better than that orange rag you used to run around in." Naruto flushed, scratching the back of his head. "Hey, yeah, guess I stand out less now." "Standing out ain't always the same as being seen," Shikaku said, voice low but firm. He plucked a bit of fish between his chopsticks, as if the comment hadn't mattered at all. Naruto blinked, mouth half open. Hotaru nudged him lightly under the table, a quiet "don't overthink it." Yoshino poured tea into small cups, her eyes sliding toward her daughter. "You're awfully quick to make room at your side, Hotaru." Hotaru's chopsticks froze midair. Color rose faintly in her cheeks. "He'd sit there anyway," she muttered. Naruto looked between them, confused. "What? It's just a seat." Shikamaru smirked around a mouthful of rice. "Idiot. Don't talk with your mouth full," Yoshino snapped, swatting lightly at the back of his head. The table shook with a ripple of quiet laughter. Hotaru trying to hide hers behind her sleeve, Naruto's grin spreading wide despite himself, even Shikaku's lips twitching before the smoke covered it. For a moment, it felt like Naruto had always belonged there. Chopsticks clicked into empty bowls. Yoshino stacked dishes neatly, Shikamaru half-heartedly helping until her sharp look made him work faster. Naruto scrambled to his feet, gathering cups and bowls like it was second nature now. Careful with those, Yoshino warned, though the corner of her mouth softened when she caught how quickly he moved. Once the last tray was carried back to the kitchen, Hotaru slipped to his side. Her fingers hooked lightly into the sleeve of his green shirt. Come on. Naruto blinked. Huh, where? She didn't answer, just tugged him through the back door and out into the morning air. The sun sat low, cutting gold across the compound walls. The grass gave way to hard-packed earth. They stopped at a worn circle in the yard, the dirt ground flat from years of use. The edges showed faint scuffs of sandals, patches where shadows had been cast 1,000 times before. Hotaru slid her foot free of her sandal, then the other, leaving them neatly at the edge. She stepped barefoot into the circle, toes curling slightly against the cool, packed dirt. Turning, she lifted her chin at him. If you're serious, leave yours too. Naruto blinked, then grinned as he bent down to tug off his own sandals, tossing them beside hers. His feet sank against the earth, warm where the sun had already touched, cooler in the shaded spots. Hotaru's expression softened just a fraction before she straightened her stance, eyes sharp again. She lifted her hand, palm forward, beckoning him in. Show me. Naruto stepped into the circle, shoulders loose but eyes bright. The packed dirt was cool under his soles, dust rising faint with each shift of weight. Hotaru set her stance first, knees bent, hands up, chin tucked. Calm, measured. Naruto mirrored her in his own sloppy way, bouncing once on the balls of his feet. Don't hold back. Wouldn't dream of it. They moved at the same time. Naruto lunged forward, fist swinging wide. Hotaru slipped under it, pivoted, her palm cutting toward his ribs. He twisted, barely blocking with his forearm. Dust kicked up. Their feet scraped and stamped against the circle's edge. A sharp exchange of blows followed, Naruto's strikes heavy, fueled by raw speed, Hotaru's movements neat and cutting, each step precise. She ducked his straight punch and swept her leg low, forcing him to hop back, arms windmilling to keep balance. Too slow, she muttered. Naruto smirked, wiped sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. You wish. He darted in again, feinting left, then snapping a kick right. Hotaru caught his ankle in both hands, twisted hard, he hit the dirt shoulder first, rolled, and sprang back up with grit stuck to his cheek. The air between them pulsed, silence heavy except for their breathing. Hotaru's eyes narrowed, her lips curling faintly. Better. He learns quick. Naruto brushed the dirt off his shirt, teeth flashing in a grin. Round 2. She sank lower into her stance, shadows pooling faint beneath her feet as the morning sun climbed higher. Don't blink. Naruto rushed forward. This time, the dirt darkened under him. A tendril of shadow darted out, fast as a whip, chasing his heels. Oi! Hey, that's cheating. He hopped back, barely avoiding the black line snaking toward his feet. Lesson 1, Hotaru said, voice calm, eyes sharp. Don't take your eyes off Nara's shadow. Naruto skidded sideways, his pulse spiking. Hotaru tracked him step for step, her bare toes digging into the earth, each movement sending her shadow lunging closer. He laughed even as sweat streaked his face. Hey, fine then. Guess I'll just have to outrun your tricks. Their clash blurred, taijutsu and shadow weaving together, testing, straining, neither giving ground. From the porch, Shikaku exhaled smoke, eyes narrowing just slightly as he watched the rhythm of the fight. His gaze lingered on the way his daughter pressed forward, methodical, sharp, almost too eager. Yoshino joined him, wiping her hands on a cloth as she leaned against the post. She watched in silence for a beat, the corner of her mouth lifting faintly at the sight of Naruto rolling back to his feet yet again. She murmured, voice low so it carried only to her husband. Maybe this is why she's been more active than usual. Her training, her chakra studies. Shikaku's brow arched, but he didn't answer right away. Yoshino's eyes followed Hotaru as she snapped a kick, dust bursting at impact. She's pushing herself harder, wondering how to grow her reserves quickly, maybe. To keep up with him. To have as much chakra as that blonde. The smoke curled out of Shikaku's nose as he exhaled slow. Troublesome, but not a bad reason. Yoshino's lips pressed together, softening into the kind of smile only a mother could wear. No, not bad at all. Out in the circle, Hotaru drove forward again, her shadow darting at Naruto's ankles as he dodged, grinning through the sweat. Neither of them seemed to notice the quiet weight of eyes on their backs. Naruto darted left, dust curling behind his heels. Hotaru's shadow followed, cutting sharp across the dirt until it snapped close enough to brush his toes. Got you, she breathed. Naruto jerked up, twisting out of range at the last instant, but it left him open. Hotaru slid inside his guard, palm stopping just shy of his chest. He froze, breathing hard. Her eyes narrowed, lips curving faintly. If this were real, you'd be finished. Struggles with that damned clone jutsu. Her jaw tightened. It's unfair. All that chakra, all that strength, and they want to judge him on illusions. He'll trip, and they'll laugh. I won't let that happen. If he fails, it won't be because no one stood beside him. She drew a slow breath, her grip firm on the cup. I'll push him. I'll keep him sharp. And if he stumbles, I'll drag him across the line myself. He doesn't need perfect clones. He just needs someone to make sure he isn't alone. A quiet smile tugged at her lips as she watched him throw another punch, sweat glinting in the morning sun. My future boyfriend's biggest problem isn't the jutsu. It's that he still doesn't see how much he already matters. I'll make sure he does. Hotaru shifted her weight slightly, knees still pressed into the dirt. She rested her elbows on her thighs, chin balanced on folded hands, and let her thoughts run while Naruto strained under her father's instructions. 1 clone could hold a trap. 10 could tear down a squad. 100, her lips quirked faintly. 100 under my shadow threads would move like a single beast. No commander could keep up. Not at the academy. Not even most Chunin. Another grunt from Naruto as his chakra flared too hot, the clone popping uselessly into smoke. She didn't flinch. Her mind wandered further. What about the exploding ones? If my shadow pinned enemies down, and he sent in a suicide clone, the fight would end before it began. No drawn-out struggle, no wasted effort. One plan, one strike, finished. She dug her fingers into the dirt, grounding the excitement that pricked at her chest. With him, the clan's style wouldn't just be defense and traps. It would become something new. A spear hidden inside the web. A weapon no one expects. Naruto cursed softly under his breath. Shikaku corrected him again, calm as ever. Hotaru let her gaze linger on the boy, sweat slicking his brow, eyes burning with that stubborn refusal to quit. He doesn't even realize the doors he's opening. He just wants to succeed. But me, she drew a steady breath, eyes narrowing, I see where this can lead. Our future. Our strength. Our victory. The dawn air was cold on her skin, but inside she felt warm, coiled with intent. The house was quiet, shadows heavy across the wooden hall. Hotaru padded barefoot down the corridor, breath steady, the faint chill of spring air seeping through the paper screens. She stopped outside the guest room door and knocked once, soft. No answer. She slid it open. Naruto was sprawled across the futon, half-kicked blanket tangled around his legs. His mouth hung open, breath loud and uneven. Even in sleep, his hand twitched like it wanted to throw a punch. Hotaru crouched beside him, eyes narrowing. Naruto, she whispered. Nothing. Her lips twitched. She jabbed a finger into his ribs. He jolted, yelping, hand flying up defensively. Wah. His eyes darted wide, then landed on her. Hotaru. It's 4:45, she said flatly. Up, she whispered sharply. Naruto rubbed his eyes, hair sticking out in all directions. It's still dark out. Why are we up this early? Hotaru's lips curved into a sly smile, eyes glinting with quiet amusement. Because real shinobi don't wait for the sun to tell them what to do. Naruto squinted at her, baffled. TCH, you're worse than Iruka. What's the deal? Training, Hotaru said simply, tugging harder until he sat upright. You'll thank me later. Naruto yawned wide, still confused but catching the determination in her gaze. You're serious, huh? Hotaru gave a small nod, the faintest trace of smug pride in her expression. Always. He groaned, collapsing back onto the pillow. That's night, not morning. Hotaru tugged the blanket off him in one swift motion. Get up. Naruto shivered at the sudden chill, sitting up with a scowl. You're crazy. Motivated, she corrected, standing with arms crossed. The exams are tomorrow. One more morning to fix your stance. One more chance at the clone jutsu before it counts. Naruto rubbed his eyes, muttering, TCH, troublesome girl. Her brow arched. That's my brother's line. Try again. Despite himself, a grin tugged at his mouth. He swung his legs off the futon, grumbling, but he was moving. Hotaru caught his sleeve before he could veer back toward the futon. Kitchen, she ordered. He blinked. Huh, thought you wanted training. On an empty stomach. You'll faint in 10 minutes. The kitchen was dim, lantern glow soft. No shikaku yet, no Yoshino. Just the faint scent of rice soaking overnight. Hotaru rolled up her sleeves. Sit. Naruto plopped down at the low table, rubbing his eyes. You cookin' now? Yes. She moved quick. Measured, rice in the pot, eggs cracked, miso warmed. Not perfect like her mother's, but steady. Naruto leaned on his elbows, watching her through half-lidded eyes. Didn't think you knew how. I learn what I need. She set bowls down minutes later, sliding his toward him. Eat. Naruto sniffed at it suspiciously, then grinned. Smells better than ramen. Everything smells better than ramen, she deadpanned. They ate in silence, until the paper door slid open. Yoshino stepped in, tying her hair back, still in her night robe. Her eyes swept the scene. The bowls, her daughter, the boy with rice on his cheek. Well, a smile tugged her lips. Up before dawn, are we? Naruto choked, coughing into his sleeve. It's not what it looks like. Hotaru set her chopsticks down. We're training. He needs food first. Training? Yoshino echoed. Her gaze lingered on the bowls, then back to her daughter. Cooking for him too. Playing wife already. Hotaru flushed faintly. Mother. Naruto nearly buried his face in his bowl. Yoshino chuckled, pouring herself tea. So, what are you two training in before sunrise? Hotaru didn't miss a beat. Taijutsu corrections, stamina drills, and his clone jutsu. Ah, Yoshino sipped. And tomorrow's exam depends on it. Naruto slumped against the table. TCH, don't bring that up. Hotaru's tone sharpened. He'll pass. I'll see to it. That's quite the vow, Yoshino said softly, amused. The door slid again. Shikaku entered, cigarette between his lips, followed by a yawning Shikamaru. What's all this noise before sunrise? Shikaku muttered, settling down. Hotaru spoke calmly. Father, Naruto's clone jutsu is his weakest point. Shikaku's eyes cut toward the boy, unreadable. Clone jutsu, huh, that's a problem. He exhaled smoke, then added, but there's another way. Another way. Naruto perked up. Shadow clone jutsu, Shikaku said. Solid copies. They think, fight, and learn. But it eats chakra. Too much, and you'll drop. Naruto's grin spread. Teach me. Shikaku studied him, then grunted. If you've got the guts to be up this early, maybe you've got the guts to try. They stepped out into the morning chill, the dirt circle still damp with dew. Shikaku folded his arms, cigarette glowing. Listen close. Shadow clone divides your chakra evenly. You get their memories when they vanish. Simple. Dangerous if you're stupid. Naruto nodded sharply. Got it. Hotaru's hands clasped behind her back, heart tight. He'll overdo it. Naruto formed the seal. Chakra surged raw, unrefined but enormous. Shadow clone jutsu. The world popped with smoke. When it cleared, the training circle, the yard, the path, even the trees beyond, were crawling with dark shapes. 1,000 Narutos in black shinobi pants, dark green high-collared shirts, and sandals scuffed the dirt, identical down to the last grin. Their voices rose in a chaotic chorus, excitement spilling over. Shikamaru's jaw dropped. No way. Hotaru's breath caught. Shikaku exhaled smoke, unfazed. Troublesome. He eyed the army, calculating. Didn't think I'd see that before breakfast. In the middle, Naruto wobbled, pale but grinning wide. Hey, how's that? Shikaku raised a brow. You just turned a simple jutsu into a weapon. Guess you really are a problem, kid. Hotaru's lips curved, pride swelling sharp in her chest. Of course he did. He's mine. Hotaru shifted her weight slightly, knees still pressed into the dirt. She rested her elbows on her thighs, chin balanced on folded hands, and let her thoughts run while Naruto strained under her father's instructions. 1 clone could hold a trap. 10 could tear down a squad. 100, her lips quirked faintly. 100 under my shadow threads would move like a single beast. No commander could keep up. Not at the academy. Not even most Chunin. Another grunt from Naruto as his chakra flared too hot, the clone popping uselessly into smoke. She didn't flinch. Her mind wandered further. What about the exploding ones? If my shadow pinned enemies down, and he sent in a suicide clone, the fight would end before it began. No drawn-out struggle, no wasted effort. One plan, one strike, finished. She dug her fingers into the dirt, grounding the excitement that pricked at her chest. With him, the clan's style wouldn't just be defense and traps. It would become something new. A spear hidden inside the web. A weapon no one expects. Naruto cursed softly under his breath. Shikaku corrected him again, calm as ever. Hotaru let her gaze linger on the boy, sweat slicking his brow, eyes burning with that stubborn refusal to quit. He doesn't even realize the doors he's opening. He just wants to succeed. But me? She drew a steady breath, eyes narrowing. I see where this can lead. Our future. Our strength. Our victory. The dawn air was cold on her skin, but inside she felt warm, coiled with intent. Hotaru stayed kneeling outside the dirt circle, arms resting on her knees. Smoke drifted around the training ground, sharp with the scent of burnt chakra. Naruto panted, sweat dripping down his temples, another failed clone dissipating with a harsh crack. Her father's voice was calm, patient. Again. Balance it. Too much and it bursts early. Too little and it won't trigger at all. Control the fuse. Naruto wiped his sleeve across his face, jaw set. Right. Again. Hotaru tilted her head, studying him. His hair clung damp to his forehead, but the fire in his eyes hadn't dimmed. He won't give up. No matter how many times he blows it. He slammed his hands together. Exploding clone jutsu. This time, the chakra shimmered steady. The clone snapped into being, its stance solid, expression fierce. Hotaru held her breath as it stood there, waiting, waiting. The clone darted forward, fists raised, before bursting apart in a perfect explosion of smoke and chakra. The shockwave rattled through the circle, scattering leaves from the nearby trees. Naruto stumbled back, wide-eyed. I did it. Hotaru felt her lips curve, pride swelling in her chest. Of course you did. You always find a way. Shikaku exhaled a lazy puff of smoke, though his eyes gleamed with approval. Passable. Again. Naruto grinned through his exhaustion, fists pumping the air. Hey, told you I'd get it. Hotaru lowered her gaze, hiding her smile behind her hair. Shadow clones, exploding clones, with this, he's not just another student anymore. He's already something more. Naruto clenched his fists, lungs burning, but the grin never left his face. All right, again. Smoke cleared as he forced his hands into the seal. Chakra flared wild, but this time he gritted his teeth and shaped it, pulling back just before it overloaded. Another clone snapped into being, steadier than before. It sprinted 3 steps, swung its fist, and burst in a sharp explosion, the blast echoing through the clearing. Naruto laughed breathlessly. Yes. Did you see that? Shikaku's voice was even, but the faintest edge of approval cut through. Closer. Less delay, more control. Again. Naruto nodded, wiping his face and trying again. And again. Each clone lasted longer, each detonation sharper, until the rhythm became instinct. Seal, focus, split, ignite. Finally, on the 10th try, the clone flickered into existence, solid and stable. It sprinted across the circle, leapt high, and detonated midair in a controlled blast that rattled the ground but didn't collapse. Naruto threw his arms up, grinning ear to ear. Ha! Nailed it! Believe it! Hotaru felt heat coil in her chest, pride flaring bright. He really did it. Not just by chance. He mastered it. Shikaku stubbed out his cigarette in the dirt, his eyes sharp despite his lazy drawl. HN. Good enough. You've got it. Naruto blinked, stunned. Wait. You mean, I passed? Shikaku gave a small nod. You can call it mastered. Just don't blow your own team up. Naruto laughed, throwing his hands behind his head. Hey, no promises. Hotaru's smile lingered as she watched him bask in the glow of success, his chakra still humming through the air like fire caught on the wind. With this, no one will laugh at him again. The cicadas buzzed low as the sun sank behind the trees, light spilling gold across the compound. Hotaru wiped her brow, chest rising steady after another round of sparring with Shikamaru. He finally begged off with his usual, troublesome, mutter, shuffling toward the porch where their mother waited. But Hotaru wasn't done. Not yet. Naruto leaned against the fence, arms crossed, watching with wide eyes. His body was still sore from the morning's clone training, but his grin hadn't dimmed all day. Come on, Hotaru said suddenly, turning toward him. Naruto blinked. Huh, more training. I'm beat. Not training. Hotaru's smile curved sly, tugging his wrist as she pulled him down the path. Something different. Oi, where are we going? Naruto asked, stumbling after her. The pond, she said simply. By the time they reached it, the last rays of sunlight were dancing on the water's surface, the still pond mirroring the first stars. Fireflies drifted in the reeds. The world was quiet, just them. Hotaru let go of his wrist, stepping into the soft grass by the shore. She turned to face him, eyes catching the fading light. Stand here, she ordered lightly. Naruto tilted his head. What are we doing? Hotaru stepped close enough for him to feel the warmth of her breath. Then she took his hand, guiding it awkwardly into hers, and placed his other against her shoulder. Naruto froze, face burning red. Wait, this is a dance, Hotaru said smoothly, cutting him off. Taijutsu teaches rhythm. So does this. Stop fidgeting. Naruto's mouth opened, then snapped shut. He swallowed, ears pink, but didn't pull away. Hotaru smirked faintly, leading him into slow steps, the grass soft beneath their bare feet. He tripped once, then twice, and she steadied him with quiet amusement. You're terrible at this, she teased. Naruto muttered, looking anywhere but her eyes. Not fair. You didn't say anything about dancing when you dragged me out here. Adapt, Hotaru countered, her smile softening as she guided him through another turn. The cicadas droned in the trees, fireflies weaving over the reeds. Hotaru guided Naruto's hand, steadying him each time he stumbled. His grip was awkward, his steps clumsy, but he didn't let go. She hid her smile behind lowered lashes. Clumsy or not, he tries. He never stops trying. Naruto's eyes darted down, then away, his ears red. Hotaru caught the sight and let her smirk soften. Even now, he has no idea. No clue what he is to me. Her chest warmed with the thought. He's different. Not like the others at the academy who whispered and jeered. Not like Shikamaru who shrugs through life. Naruto throws himself at the world, even when it spits him back out. He keeps moving. He keeps shining. She spun him gently, the pond light rippling across his hair like fire. And he's mine. The village ignored him. His sensei neglected him. But I see him. I won't let anyone else claim him. Not Ino, not anyone. He belongs here, with me. Naruto tripped again, catching himself with a sheepish grin. Hey, sorry. Guess I'm not much of a dancer. Hotaru tightened her grip, smirk tugging her lips. Then you'll just have to practice more. With me. His grin widened, innocent, unguarded. Hey, yeah, with you. Hotaru's smile lingered long after the words faded. The fireflies swirled around them, the pond still and quiet, and in that moment she knew with absolute certainty, this bond wasn't chance. It was already written. Nara porch. From the porch, Yoshino leaned against the wooden post, her eyes soft as she watched her daughter guide Naruto clumsily across the grass. The fireflies spun around them, their laughter low but clear, and Yoshino's lips curved into a quiet smile. So it's already begun, she thought, warmth in her chest. That girl, she's already chosen him. Shikamaru had long since dozed off beside her, but when Shikaku stepped out, cigarette glowing in the dark, Yoshino tilted her head toward the pond. There, she murmured. Look at them. Shikaku followed her gaze, exhaling smoke as his sharp eyes landed on the two figures moving awkwardly under the stars. Yoshino's smile deepened. Sly now. You see it, don't you? Our daughter's already caught him in her shadow. Shikaku gave a low hum, unreadable. Oh, don't pretend you don't approve, Yoshino teased, elbow him lightly. It's written all over your face. He's already family, you just won't admit it yet. Shikaku's lips quirked around his cigarette, smoke trailing up into the night. For a long moment he said nothing. Then, with a slow exhale, he murmured, yes. He's family. Yoshino's smile softened, satisfied. She leaned lightly against his arm as the two watched their daughter dance under the fireflies with the boy who had already stolen her heart. Morning of the final academy day. The pond's laughter faded into dreams, and dawn crept fast. Naruto stirred at the feel of something prodding his side. He groaned, pulling the blanket tighter. Up, Hotaru muttered, nudging him harder. Naruto cracked one eye open, squinting blearily at her kneeling by his bed, her dark hair tied neatly back. It's still early, what are you doing in here? It's not early, Hotaru said, her tone brisk but her lips curved in a faint smile. It's the last day at the academy. You're not oversleeping for this. Naruto blinked, sitting up slowly. The words sank in. Last day. His eyes widened, the sleep vanishing all at once. Oh crap. That's today. He yelped, scrambling to his feet so fast he nearly tripped over his own sandals. Hotaru smirked, arms crossing as she watched him stumble into his new gear. Relax. You've trained. You'll pass. Naruto tugged his shirt straight, muttering under his breath. Yeah, unless they make me do that stupid clone jutsu again. Hotaru's gaze softened. You've already gone further than any of them know. Today, they'll see it. Don't drag your feet, she said, tugging his sleeve toward the hall. Breakfast. Then we go. Nara breakfast. The smell of rice and grilled fish filled the dining room as they stepped inside. Yoshino was already setting bowls down, her sharp eyes flicking toward Naruto with a knowing smile. Up early, for once. She teased, sliding a bowl in front of him. Naruto scratched the back of his head, grinning sheepishly. Hey, guess so. Shikamaru slumped into his seat across from them, yawning wide. Troublesome. It's just graduation. No need to make a big deal out of it. Hotaru shot her brother a glare. It is a big deal. Yoshino smirked, pouring tea. Your sister's right. And you, she tapped her chopsticks against Naruto's bowl, eat properly. You'll need strength for today. Naruto nodded quickly, digging in with gusto. Shikaku entered last, his cigarette tucked away for once, leaning against the wall as he looked over the table. His sharp eyes landed on Naruto, who was already halfway through his rice. Well, Shikaku said, voice calm but firm, if you can handle 1,000 clones before breakfast, graduation should be simple enough. Naruto froze mid-bite, blinking wide. Wait. You think so? Shikaku gave a small nod. Just don't blow up the classroom with that new trick. Hotaru hid her laugh behind her tea, while Yoshino chuckled openly. You hear that? Even your teacher approves. Naruto's chest puffed with pride, his grin stretching ear to ear. Hey, then I'll pass for sure. Yoshino's eyes softened as she watched him beam at their table, seated like he belonged. He does, she thought. And after today, the whole village will have to see it too. Hokage's office. Jonin assignments. The morning sun cut through the wide windows of the Hokage's office, spilling across stacks of scrolls and the ever-present haze of tobacco smoke. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat behind his desk, pipe in hand, as the Jonin gathered in a loose semicircle before him. Their chatter had dwindled the moment he'd unrolled the lists. Graduation is today, Hiruzen said, his tone carrying the weight of years. These children step from the academy into the life of shinobi. It falls to you to shape them into something more than raw potential. Choose wisely. The door slid open. Bootsteps crossed the threshold, light but sharp. A woman entered, silver hair pulled back into a neat tail, porcelain mask hanging at her hip. The uniform of the hunter nin fit her like second skin, the faint smell of steel and blood clinging to it. Conversation faltered. Asuma's hand dropped from his pocket. Kurenai's eyes narrowed in recognition. Even Kakashi's single eye flicked up from the list, his slouch tightening. One by one, the Jonin straightened, posture shifting with a warrior's instinct. Hiruzen exhaled a long plume of smoke, eyes half-lidded as if he'd been expecting this very moment. Ah, you're here. The woman unhooked her porcelain mask, silver hair gleaming in the light. Akira Kurosawa, she said simply. A ripple of murmurs stirred the Jonin. Akira Kurosawa was no ordinary name, she was whispered of in mission reports, a hunter nin who moved like death itself. Hiruzen gestured to the scrolls. Choose. Akira's violet eyes swept the names. She didn't linger long. Naruto Uzumaki, she said. Shikamaru Nara. And Hotaru Nara. The air shifted. Even Kakashi straightened, Asuma's brow furrowed, and Kurenai's lips pressed thin. Akira clipped the mask back at her hip. Those three are mine. Hiruzen nodded once. So it shall be. She inclined her head, turned on her heel, and left. The door slid shut behind her, silence pressing thick. It didn't last long. Kakashi's voice cut low. Naruto, in her hands. That's reckless. Asuma crossed his arms, scowling. You're not the only one thinking it. She's a hunter, not a teacher. Those kids won't get drills and patience, they'll get blood and blades. Kurenai's tone was quieter, but firm. She's dangerous, yes, but disciplined. Maybe discipline is exactly what they need. Kakashi's visible eye flicked toward her, unimpressed. Or maybe they'll break under her methods before they ever learn teamwork. Enough, Hiruzen said, voice firm, pipe tapping against the ashtray. His eyes swept the room. You forget who trained her. Akira Kurosawa was Kushina Uzumaki's student. She carries the lessons of Naruto's own mother. It is only natural she would take him now. The room stilled. Even Kakashi's eye lowered at the weight of that name. Hiruzen leaned back, smoke curling into the air. Naruto has been overlooked too long. The Nara children require challenge beyond their clan's walls. Together, they will rise. And Akira will see to it that they do. Asuma muttered under his breath, but didn't push further. Kakashi said nothing more. Hiruzen shifted the scrolls again, sealing the rest. Team 7 will consist of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. Team 10 will consist of Choji Akamichi, Ino Yamanaka, and Nara Kato. Team 15, under Akira Kurosawa, Naruto Uzumaki, Shikamaru Nara, and Hotaru Nara. The air was taut, the future of Konoha rewritten in quiet strokes of ink and smoke. Academy exam. The classroom buzzed with nervous chatter, desks creaking as students shifted. Graduation day. Naruto's leg bounced under his desk, palms damp. He tugged at his collar, feeling every whisper burn into his back. Hotaru noticed immediately. She reached out, brushing his sleeve with her fingers, her voice low enough for only him. Don't. Naruto blinked, startled. Huh. Her eyes held steady, calm and sharp. Don't let them see you squirm. Sit straight. Breathe. Today you proved them wrong. He swallowed hard, nodding. The heat in his chest eased, just enough. Yeah, you're right. Hotaru smirked faintly, turning her gaze forward as Iruka stepped to the front. But her hand stayed lightly against his arm until his leg stopped bouncing. Naruto drew in a slow breath, shoulders firming. I can do this. The door slid open. Bootsteps crossed the floor, steady, sharp. A tall woman entered, silver hair gleaming, porcelain mask hanging at her hip. The hunter nin uniform clung to her frame, every movement precise. The room froze. Whispers erupted. A hunter nin. Why's she here? Are we in trouble? Even Iruka stiffened. Mizuki's smirk faltered. Akira Kurosawa leaned against the far wall, arms folded, violet eyes scanning the room like she was already measuring them. I'll observe, she said flatly. Iruka gave a quick nod, hiding his unease. Of course. The class stayed tense, sitting straighter under her gaze. Hotaru's hand brushed Naruto's under the desk again, her eyes narrowing. She's not here for them. She's watching us. Naruto swallowed, but the fire in his chest steadied. If Akira was watching him, he'd show her something real. The class stayed tense, sitting straighter under her gaze. Hotaru's hand brushed Naruto's under the desk again, her eyes narrowing. She's not here for them. She's watching us. Naruto swallowed, but the fire in his chest steadied. If Akira was watching him, he'd show her something real. Iruka adjusted his clipboard. We'll go in order. When I call your name, step forward and perform the clone jutsu. One by one, students rose. Some produced shaky illusions. Others managed solid enough clones to scrape by. Each success earned whispers, each failure brought stifled laughter. Sasuke Uchiha, the dark-haired boy, strode confidently to the front. Hands flew into the seal, and 3 crisp clones stood beside him, identical down to the smirk on their lips. The class murmured in awe. Perfect, Iruka said with a nod. Pass. Sasuke returned to his seat without a glance at anyone. Ino Yamanaka. Ino stepped forward, smile bright but tense. Her clones wavered, but held form long enough for Iruka to nod her through. She exhaled in relief, tossing her hair as she returned to her desk. One by one, the list ticked down. Finally, Uzumaki Naruto. The room stilled. Dozens of eyes turned toward him. Some mocking, some curious, most expecting him to fail. Naruto stood, fists clenched, and walked to the front. His steps felt heavy, but Hotaru's steady gaze at his back held him upright. Mizuki leaned forward, smirk cutting sharp. 3 perfect clones, Uzumaki. Or you fail. Naruto blinked. What? Everyone else only had 2. 3, Mizuki snapped, loud enough for the class to hear. Or sit back down. Snickers rippled through the room. Naruto's jaw tightened, heat burning in his chest. Then a voice cut through, cool and final. Enough. Every head turned. Akira Kurosawa pushed off the wall, violet eyes narrowing on Mizuki. Standard as 1 clone. Do not twist the rules. Mizuki stiffened, but she didn't give him room to argue. Uzumaki children carry unusually large chakra reserves, she said, her tone flat as steel. The Academy's basic clone jutsu is useless to them. Their chakra crushes the technique. His failure would not be weakness, only proof of his lineage. A hush fell over the room. Students shifted, uneasy. Even Iruka faltered, shame flickering across his face. Naruto froze where he stood, wide-eyed. She knows. Hotaru's lips curved into the faintest smirk. And she won't let him be humiliated for it. Mizuki's smirk slipped, jaw tightening, but he didn't dare speak under Akira's gaze. Iruka swallowed, nodding stiffly. Naruto, one clone is the requirement. Begin. Akira lifted her hand again, silencing the room. Her gaze locked on Naruto, cold and steady. To the instructors, she said flatly, if he performs one shadow clone, he passes. That is the standard. Nothing more. Mizuki's jaw worked, but Iruka gave a stiff nod. Why yes, one will be enough. Akira's gaze didn't move. Shadow clone jutsu. Do it. Naruto's chest swelled, determination surging as he slammed his hands together. Chakra flooded, bursting in smoke. Then four perfect Narutos stood at his side, solid and grinning. The room erupted. No way. They're solid. That's advanced ninjutsu. Hotaru's smirk tugged sharp, pride flashing in her eyes. That's right. Let them choke on it. Naruto dismissed the clones with a puff of smoke, standing taller than before. Good enough to pass, right? Iruka nodded quickly, clipboard trembling slightly. Yes. Naruto Uzumaki, passes. Naruto scratched his cheek, grinning sheepishly. If you want, I can show the exploding clone too. No. Akira's voice cut across the room, final. Violet eyes held him steady. I believe you. Naruto froze, breath catching. Slowly, his grin softened into something smaller, warmer. Someone believed him, openly, without doubt. Hotaru leaned back in her seat, satisfied. That's all he ever needed.